We go to the NFL draft. To quote The Rock, the son of Super Bowl champion and Hall of Famer Deon'S Shadur Sanders, got drafted in the 5th round. But we all know why he fell so far.
Don't say it.
Because the league is racist.
Everybody knows you never go full retard.
I'm Josh Bergonzo on this. But isn't half the league made up of black players?
That is true.
And also, some of the most highest paid quarterbacks in the league also happen to be black?
That is also true.
Just saying. But it's what's next. Hey, happy Monday, ladies and gentlemen. Jazz Bergonzo, what's next? Your daily dose. Hope you guys are feeling good today on this day. Well, if you missed it, it was the draft. The NFL draft. Yes, well, technically it started Thursday, but it winded its way through and finished out over the weekend. One of the biggest names in college football, finally, to quote The Rock, got drafted. That would be the son of one Deon'S Sanders. Yes, Hall of Famer, Super Bowl champion Deon'S Sanders, Shadur Sanders, finally got picked in the 5th round. Now, people are wondering why. Why a guy who was projected so high, especially in the 1st round, got picked so late? Why did he drop so far? Well, if you guessed racism, you would be correct. Not really. This, coming from Outkick. Clay Travis dismantled sports media for pushing racist narratives about Shadur Sanders and the NFL draft. By now, everyone knows that Colorado quarterback Shadur Sanders, considered to be many a potential 1st-round pick in the draft, tumbled to the 5th round. The Cleveland Browns, who passed on Sanders multiple times during the draft, eventually pulled the trigger despite picking Oregon quarterback Dillon Gabriel in the 3rd round. Interesting. Of course, many sports media members and one politician decide to stick their noses in because that's what they do. Decide there was one reason, and only one reason, why Sanders dropped so far. Was he hanging around with the wrong crowd? Was he doing drugs? Was he doing shenanigans? No, turned out to be racisms. Yes, if there's one reason that Sanders absolutely did not fall in the draft, it was because of racism. Outkick founder Clay Travis let loose on the sports media for consistently pushing this narrative as part of its never-ending quest to divide Americans on the basis of skin color. Quote, the NFL, a majority black employed league, has created more black millionaires than any other business in the history of the world. Arguing that the league is racist, as many sports media did this weekend, is the dumbest argument of the 21st century in sports history, he posted on X. Quote, to do so, based on a success or failure of any one player in the draft, as many of the sports media members did, is either profoundly dumb or intentionally racially divisive, to score points with the dumbest sports fans in America. There are no other options. Travis is 100% correct. A black quarterback, Cam Ward, was the overall pick number 1 in this year's draft. Excuse me. This was the 3rd year in a row that a black quarterback was the top selection. Caleb Williams in 24, Bryce Young to the Panthers in 23. Not only that, but the 2nd overall pick in both the 23 and the 24 draft were also black quarterbacks. C.J. Stroud in 23 and Jaden Daniels in 24. The argument that the NFL conspired against Shadur Sanders because he's black is insanely ridiculous, lazy. It's a ridiculous and lazy argument. Travis was not done, though. He pointed out that the NFL draft, just like any other market, is a capitalist society, and it creates inefficiencies. That means the teams are best recognized market inefficiencies are the ones who have the most success long term. If teams thought Sanders was wildly undervalued, he would have gone sooner. They clearly didn't. Yes, they evaluated and didn't think he was that good. Just throwing darts. The NFL is not without its flaws. All major businesses, like all people, have flaws, but this is the ultimate mediocrity. The best man wins, gets paid for the most winning. We should endeavor to make America more like sports, not sports more like America. Sports gets it right, Travis wrote. Quote, a player being drafted lower than your made-up mock draft is, moreover, non-existential crisis of modern sports morality. The NFL draft is a venture capital market, and some players are inevitably over and underrated by the market, just like companies in private equity, he also added. Finally, the best result of the NFL draft is the same as private equity. If you believe the market has fundamentally undervalued the asset and you get a great price, put your money behind it and reap the benefit. Every draft pick is an asset. The better you do valuing those assets, the better off you are. Shadur Sanders fell into the 5th round, 25th draft for a number of reasons. But we can be assured one thing and one thing only: racism had no part to play in it. My thoughts. Again, this is what the media does. You had a handful of media morons over the weekend blame Russisms for Shedeur dropping so far in the draft. Did they blame racism when Tom Brady dropped to the 7th round? No. Anyway, I'm sorry, Tom Brady's white, so you can't be racist. Anyway, but when it comes to Shedeur Sanders, everyone expected him to be in the first round. Expected me to pick for it. I mean, I did. A lot of people who were watching the draft, of course, I wasn't worried about anybody else. I was just worried about what Philly was going to do. And of course, Philly went from 32 to 31 and picked a young and upcoming linebacker. But when it comes to Shedeur Sanders, he kept his nose clean, wasn't hanging around with the wrong crowd, didn't do shenanigans, got nobody pregnant, so far as we know. The only thing is, he's got a father. His name is Deon'S Sanders, Super Bowl champion, Hall of Famer. I don't see why he fell so far, except that when you had all the teams evaluate him, was he talking nonsense? Was he talking? Was he shit talking and stuff like that? To the leading up to the draft, a lot of players do that. It is what it is. It's every year, but they had to have seen something that they were like, no, the juice wasn't worth the squeeze. But the Browns, after picking a quarterback earlier in the draft in the 3rd round, decide to pick him in the 5th round. Now, Cleveland has a history of shitty quarterbacks. Deshaun Watson, anyone. Paid $200 million for this guy. Guaranteed. First quarterback in NFL history to have his entire contract guaranteed. And what did he get for it? Multiple injuries. Got knocked out for the season. But it didn't help also that he had a lot of shenanigans with a lot of women, and it came to bite him in the ass. But withstanding. With Shedeur Sanders, we don't know why. To me, that's the only thing. Is that, was he overvalued? Well, was he overrated going into the draft? Weren't there some, when there's some, coaches or whatever who was saying, hey, you know what? Maybe he's more like a 2nd or 3rd round pick and not a 1st round. I can see him not, getting picked in the 1st round. Okay, 2nd round, 3rd round, 4th round, then the 5th. Wow. Now, if I'm Shedeur, I take this as a challenge. I'm going to make every single team in that 1st round who refused to draft me, I'm going to make them pay. I'm going to make them pay by my abilities on the field and turning this franchise around. But, as we all know, Cleveland Browns have a history of being shitty. And with that being said, I'm Jazz Berganzo. This is What's Next. Want to see more like this, please leave a comment below. Like it, share, subscribe to it. Hit that notification bell so you guys never miss a thing. Continue spreading the word about the show. Appreciate you guys watching as always. And we'll see you next time. Peace.